Okay, so I started off drawing some points. The reason I drew some points is because I need pick points for my spline tools to maintain tangency. And I'll explain that right in this area, but it's also going to come into play when we want to finish up the tail there with a nice curve that keeps tangent with the curve we create. So these 2 points are directly in line, and I'm going to get the spline fitted tool, and I'm going to start right at the 0 there, right? And then now the reason I choose this one right here is because when I go to make this curve right here, I want this to remain tangent with the other side I'm going to do. So it needs to be a nice curve. If I just go pick a point over here right now, it's going to be a hard edge right there. So if I pick a point, the second point you pick with your tool has to be in tangent with the curve. If it is, then that first pick point join will be a tangent point. So I picked that second one there that was tangent. Then I just made this one that's halfway down straight in line with that tangent. And then I can go and pick the last point 4 inches down. And that gives me my half of my base of my fin, a nice curve. And if you go zoom in here, you'll see that that curve right there is ending up going tangent with the other side. So when I mirror, it'll be a nice curve there. So there's that half of that fin. Now I'm going to do the top fin. So again, I'm going to pick that point there. This one is just directly up from that 0. So I'm going to use that as a point to start my curve, and then that'll be directly up from that base point to finish that. Now, that's not necessarily the shape of my fin I want, so I'm going to switch to the front UCS here and use my deform tool to get a nice shape there, right? So let's see. That looks about more like a fin right there, I believe, right? Let's check it. Yep. Okay, so that's the shape I want. So let's go ahead and do that. And then now I can just do a line join on these points right here to get my back fin. And same thing though, now I'll switch to the front view, and that's not quite, that's just a straight line. So I can take that right there and kind of go, okay, that looks like a fin there, right? Let's make sure it all worked right. Okay, so that looks good. Now I need to create the curvature up here for the top because I don't want a pointy fin. I mean, we're not doing a shark, we're doing a surfboard. So how do you start drawing on this and maintain without creating a kink in your surface or curve? Well, that becomes what I just explained down here. So I'm going to use points on my entity to be able to get tangent points to pick. So I'm going to go point on entity distance, and let's start with a 1.25 point there, and let's put one there and one there. Now I have a pick point on that line, but I need to be able to remain tangent to that point with the second point I pick before I start making curvature, otherwise there'll be a kink. So what I'm going to do is just go ahead and take a 1/4 inch off that, make it a 1 inch, and go here, and same thing on the other side. Now what I have is a tangent pick point to this curve for my second pick. So now I can take my spline fitted tool, and I can pick the first one here. The second one, I make sure I pick that second point. Now I can go up and pick my point that I'm going to start my curvature from. And then same thing here, I'm going to click this one, which comes in there. But I want to remain tangent in that curve with the new curve I make. So I'm going to pick that second point that's in tangency. Now what we'll have is a nice smooth curve there. So now I'll break the sharp curve with my new one so I can utilize that now. So break entity. I'm going to choose this one, and I'll break it with the new curve. It's broken. Yeah. Now I'm going to choose this one, and I'll break it with the new curve. Now I can get rid of the junk I don't want. And you should be left with curves that have nice, smooth tangency between them. So if I would have just picked somewhere arbitrarily, there'd be like a V hard edge there, right? Same thing through there. So this one looks like maybe it didn't work. I might have to review that, but I'll be able to tell if my surface has a little kink up in here, then I'll know that I didn't get good tangency in that pick right there, right? So it should have worked. Let's go ahead and get back to the top view. Now I have my half of my fin and my 4 curves to work with. This one, this one, this one, and that one, right? So it actually looks like I have a kink there. Maybe I shouldn't have went an inch. I should have stayed up a little more or spread this out, or I might have to review how I made that. But we'll know right now, because now what we can do is just skin it, right? So let's go with, there's 1 edge, 2 edges, 3 edges, 4 edges. We'll skin it. And actually looks pretty good. So it's just a display anomaly. I don't have my display settings up very, very well, right? But this can all be adjusted anyway if it's good. So now I can just mirror that to the other side, and there's your surf fin, right, with 3 edges. Planar the bottom one after I mirror it, and toolpath it. Lay it down flat and toolpath it. So there's the fin, okay?